Biggest draft mistakes, Doug MacLean, Columbus Blue Jackets. Doug MacLean was the inaugural president and general manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets, serving from the franchise's inception until his dismissal in 2007. Under MacLean's leadership, the Blue Jackets failed to reach the playoffs in any of their first 6 seasons of play. During his tenure as GM, MacLean made many terrible draft mistakes, which in hindsight turned out to be disastrous for the franchise. In this episode, I will be talking about the biggest draft mistake by Doug MacLean as the Columbus Blue Jackets GM. Here are some of Doug MacLean's biggest blunders as Columbus Blue Jackets GM. Taking Radoslav Klesla 4th overall in 2000 turned out to be a massive mistake. As the first ever draft pick for the franchise, MacLean selected defenseman Radoslav Klesla. While Klesla was a serviceable NHL defenseman who played over 600 games, he never reached the elite franchise-changing status expected for the 4th overall pick. Players taken shortly after Klesla included stars like Scott Hartnell, 6th overall by Nashville. Passing on Duncan Keith in 2002 was a colossal mistake. While MacLean struck gold by trading up for Rick Nash at 1, he missed out on a chance to draft a franchise defenseman in the second round. Columbus chose center Joakim Lindstrom at 41st overall, passing over future 3-time Stanley Cup champion and Hall of Famer Duncan Keith, who went 54th overall. Drafting Nikolai Zherdev 4th overall in 2003 was a huge mistake. MacLean touted Nikolai Zherdev as a top talent in one of the deepest drafts in NHL history. While Zherdev was talented, he lacked consistency and was eventually dubbed Peter the Not So Great due to his inability to become the superstar MacLean predicted. In a draft class loaded with talent, the Blue Jackets passed on future Hall of Famers and elite stars like Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry, Jeff Carter, and Brent Burns, all of whom were selected later in the first round. Trading the 4th overall pick in 2004 for Alexander Picard turned out to be a massive mistake in hindsight. In a draft featuring future stars, MacLean traded the 4th overall pick to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for the 8th overall pick and the 59th pick. With the 8th overall pick, the Columbus Blue Jackets selected Alexander Picard, a winger who never found his footing in the NHL, scoring 0 goals in 67 games for the franchise. Carolina used the 4th pick to select Andrew Ladd, who played over 1,000 NHL games and won 2 Stanley Cups. In what is ranked one of the worst drafts in franchise history, the Columbus Blue Jackets had 12 total picks, yet none of them played 100 games for the Blue Jackets. Aside of trading down from the 4th spot, the team failed to find any long-term contributors in the later rounds. Selecting Gilbert Brule over Anze Kopitar in 2005 might have been his biggest mistake. Despite his scouting staff's passionate plea to take the Slovenian center Anze Kopitar, MacLean insisted on selecting Gilbert Brule 6th overall. MacLean famously questioned why he would take a Slovenian who pushes rocks up a mountain over a proven Canadian junior star. Brule became a notable bust, while Kopitar went on to become a 2-time Stanley Cup champion and one of the league's premier two-way centers for the Los Angeles Kings. The primary result of Doug MacLean's draft blunders was the protracted failure of the Columbus Blue Jackets to establish a competitive foundation, leading to his dismissal on April 19, 2007. Under his leadership, the team became the only franchise in NHL history to go its first 6 seasons without a single playoff appearance. The team finished with a dismal 172, 258, and 62 record, .349 winning percentage during his tenure. MacLean's tendency to rush young players into top-line roles before they were ready, such as Gilbert Brule and Nikolai Zherdev, frequently stunted their professional growth. On-ice struggles led to declining attendance at Nationwide Arena and millions in financial losses for the ownership group. If the Columbus Blue Jackets draft the right players and develop their players properly, they could have built a dynasty. In the 2000 draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Scott Hartnell 4th overall and Henrik Lundqvist 169th overall. In the 2001 draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Ales Hemsky 8th overall, Mike Camilleri 38th overall, Jason Pominville 53rd overall, and Patrick Sharp 85th overall. In the 2002 draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Duncan Keith 41st overall and Franz Nielsen 65th overall. In the 2003 NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets trade pick 4 to the San Jose Sharks for picks 16, 43, 47, and a first-round pick in 2005. In the 2003 draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Brent Burns, 16th overall, Patrice Bergeron, 43rd overall, Shea Weber, 46th overall, David Backes, 47th overall, Joe Pavelski, 138th overall, and Dustin Byfuglien, 200th overall. In the 2004 NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets trade pick 8 to the Washington Capitals for picks 27, 62, and a second-round pick in 2006. In the 2004 draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Corey Schneider, 27th overall, Blake Holmo, 46th overall, David Krejci, 63rd overall, Johan Franzen, 93rd overall, and Chris Versteeg, 96th overall. In the 2005 NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Anze Kopitar, 6th overall, Mark Stahl, 8th overall, Chris Letang, 55th overall, and Keith Yandel, 101st overall. In the 2006 NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft Brad Marchand, 53rd overall, and Andrew McDonald, 136th overall. In the 2007 NHL draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets draft PK Subban, 37th overall, and Carl Hagelin, 158th overall. By the 2007-2008 season, the Columbus Blue Jackets would have put together a pretty good team with a stacked pipeline. The first line is Anze Kopitar centering Rick Nash and Alex Hemsky. The second line is Patrice Bergeron centering Mike Camilleri and Jason Pominville. Third line is David Krejci centering Johan Franzen and Joe Pavelski. The fourth line is Franz Nielsen centering Scott Hartnell and David Backes. The first D pair is Duncan Keith and Shea Weber. The second D pair is Mark Stahl and Brent Burns. Third D pair is Fedor Tutin and Chris Letang. Goalies are Henrik Lundqvist and Corey Schneider. Top prospects in the system include Jacob Voracek, Dustin Byfuglien, PK Subban, Brad Marchand, Keith Yandel, Derek Brassard, Andrew McDonald, and Chris Versteeg. Doug MacLean's terrible drafting combined with Columbus's poor development of players resulted in one of the worst stretches of hockey in franchise history.